So is there anything then in your entire sort of freelancing career you wish you did differently, or would you have done exactly the same?
The only thing I wish I'd have sorted out is my finances, because I was of the type, you know, like, no pay this week, oh god, down the back of the sofa looking for pennies.
Yeah.
Next week, big check through the door, I know, let's go on the lash, waste it all. So I didn't plan my finances properly. And the thing is, as a freelancer, you are slightly isolated, you are slightly on your own. You probably can't afford an accountant to sort your finances out. So it was all down to you. Budgets, financing, that has never really been my strong point. And also, one of the things you notice when you first start freelancing is you're getting these checks through the door. Brilliant, spend it all. You don't think, Christ, I've got to pay tax on this. So the tax thing bit me in the ass quite severely about 5 years into being a freelancer. I wish I'd sorted that out, because that kind of stressed me out quite a bit at the time. But other than that, I would not change a damn thing. It was a joy, and it still is. Just great being able to work. More importantly than, you know, freelancing isn't the goal. Freelancing just happens to be the way that I work. Yeah. But being able to do it on a wide variety of subjects, meet a huge variety of people, and go to a huge variety of places, it's been fantastic. And beyond that, a little deeper than that, freelancing ultimately taught me how to be an adult. Not only did I eventually have to sort out my finances, sort out my office, schedule myself, you know, all of that sort of stuff. But beyond that, I was quite a shy kid. I was quite a quiet, shy kid. I mean, I wasn't unhappy or anything. I just preferred my own company. And I probably would have stayed like that. Even if I'd have got an office job straight away after leaving university, I probably would have stayed kind of quite isolated. Freelancing actually forced me to become sociable, not falsely sociable or falsely gregarious, but it forced me to kind of, you're confronted with situations on a daily basis as a freelancer, where you have to speak to people, you have to speak to total strangers, not only on the phone but also face to face. You have to go to a country you've never been to, a city you've never been to, and walk into a room and there's 5 people there waiting to be interviewed by you, and you have to conduct a conversation with them for about an hour. And, you know, being forced into situations like that, even though they used to terrify me, it forced me to grow up. It forced me to come out of myself a little bit more. And really, the key to life, if you like, is confidence. Confidence is just the key to so much. It's the key to being happy, and it's the key to getting a girlfriend and stuff like that. It's key to everything. And without the kind of enforced training that the freelance life gave me, I don't think I'd have developed any confidence at all, and I'd still be a sort of wretchedly shy individual. I mean, I might be happy, but I'm glad that freelancing brought me out of my shell a bit. So, yeah.
All right, then. Do you ever worry that one day in the future you'll lose your spark and your creativity for writing?
No.
Never?
Never, because it's just the way your brain works. I'm sure it's the same for you, Christian, that if you sit around watching the news or reading the papers or something, you are thinking. You can't turn your brain off, and it never gets tired. I mean, I might have thought, I didn't think, put it this way, when I started when I was 21, I didn't think I'd still be doing it at the age of 38. But for God's sake, there's still so many things to be angry about in the world. Definitely. And also there's still so many things to be passionate and love in the world, you know. And so long as you remain interested, that won't change. I mean, people don't really think certain things change in people, but what they're interested and passionate about frequently doesn't change from a very young age. And, you know, from the age of about 12, 13, well, even younger than that, music has obsessed me my whole life. Writing words has similarly obsessed me my whole life. So I never worry about that running out, because I'm okay at it. I'm a good writer. So writer's block happens, but that happens. You know what I mean? You go do the washing up, go for a stroll, do something if it's really killing you. Usually it's just kind of relaxing a bit, and the ideas will come back. So no, I never worry about that. And if it did happen that I ran out of ideas or I just didn't want to do it anymore, then so be it. I've had a good run. Yeah, definitely.
Do you think your style and method of writing has developed over the time you've been a freelancer?
Well, yeah, I mean, without a doubt. And kind of... the thing is, as a freelancer and as any writer, you have to be willing to take on advice from others, especially those people that you respect or people that have been in it longer than you. I'm not saying you should necessarily respect everyone who's older than you in writing, or sort of just pay attention to somebody because they're your editor. You know, it's not about pips on their shoulders or anything. But if it's a writer you respect, then you should take that on board. And I remember my first couple of reviews that I wrote for Melody Maker. they were okay, but they were kind of generic. Anyone could have written them, you know. My editor pointed out where I was being a bit cliched. He said, there's the old thing that writers do. This does something like something on something, like something on drugs. It was a real cliche, and I think I put that in one of my first reviews. And he pointed that cliche out to me, and I didn't do it again. But around about 2-3 months into doing it, there was a band called Credit to the Nation, and I had something very specific to say about them that was unique, that nobody else had really said about them, and it was killing me that nobody had said it. It really annoyed me. You know, there's countless issues, I'm sure for you, Christian, where you look around the media and nobody's saying what you want to.
Nobody's sort of seeing it from your
perspective, and nobody's saying what you think needs saying about this issue. And once I found that voice, that I had this unique thing to say, that's really the moment you grow up as a writer. And ever since then, really, it's just been about honing it, and it's been kind of about reflecting life events change you as a writer. I think initially I was quite heartless. I prided myself on my heartlessness and my hard-edgedness and being a bit of a hatchet man. But when you see people die in your life, and when you see people born in your life as well, big events like that, they open up your heart a little bit more. I hope my writing's got a little bit more heart and soul to it now, whereas it used to be just kind of slightly ranty. There was always a lot more to it than just ranting, but I like to think I'm a bit more open and generous with my writing and the emotions of it now than I was. So yeah, your writing should reflect your development as a human being. Otherwise you're being inauthentic. If I was thinking, oh yeah, the only thing people want to read from me is slag-offs, and I keep churning it out, it'd be forced, and you'd be able to tell it was forced. It wouldn't sit right.
It annoys a lot of people as well if that's all you sort of hear from someone.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the Charlie Brooker thing. I mean, God bless him, he's funny and all that, but I'd like him to find another note, because he's a good writer, but I'd like him to, I don't know, find another shtick. But what I find is the easiest thing to do as a writer is to be honest. Never lie, and just be yourself. And if you're able to put words together well, your writing will absolutely mirror the way your emotions and your heart and your soul change over the years.
All right. Let me have a look. Are there any sort of like subjects and questions during an interview which you would never you'd never sort of ask about a particular?
That's a really good question, Christian. There's no, there's only one thing I'd avoid in interviews, and that's the obvious. You know, I would never interview a band and say, why are you called? Yeah. You know, I would never interview an artist and say, are you single? Or any of those sort of usual questions you see. What do you think of the English ladies? You know, you get these interviews that ask the same old questions. And
you get the same sort of questions published in about 5 different magazines by different editors.
Well, this is it. I mean, this is why your question about whether the future's good is a good question, because why bother generating original content when you could just retweet or reuse stuff that other people have got? But I mean, the only question I would avoid is the predictable one, is the obvious one, the one that he or she or they have been asked 400 times that day. I would always aim for something a little bit more interesting, and the way you're going to get that question, the more interesting question, is by doing your research properly. If you haven't done your research, I mean, if you walk in to interview a band and you say, why are you cool? You know, that immediately tells the band you haven't done your research and that you don't really give a toss and that you're not too smart. And they'll treat that interview then as just this by-rote thing, and they'll shoot out the same cliches. Whereas if you meet a band and you say, in your lyrics, you say, blah, 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 I was interested, and you show that you've done some sort of like deeper research and are trying to figure them out as artists, then they'll respond, usually really positively. So yeah, the only thing to avoid in interviews is the predictable, as you have done, Christian, because you're not asking the same questions that everyone else has asked at all.
I made a bit of a point of doing that.
Good.